Alright, section 12.4, completing the square. We're going to be solving quadratic equations by completing the square, and then we'll go ahead and review other ways to solve quadratics. So x squared plus 20x, and if we're asked to complete the square, what we're really asking to do is write a third term that is going to be the square of half of the linear coefficient. In this case, the linear coefficient is 20. The linear coefficient is 20, half of 20 is 10, and 10 squared is 100. So x squared plus 20x plus 100 is the square that's completed, or completed the square. So if we're asked to complete the square on x squared plus 20x, we add 100 to make that a perfect square. You'll notice that's a perfect square trinomial, and that's what we're really asking to do here. It's a perfect square trinomial which factors to x plus 10 quantity squared. So that's the general idea of what completing the square means. We're going to take whatever we have that's a quadratic, and we're going to make it a perfect square trinomial. So the steps I'm going to show you for completing the square are: 1, get c to the other side. So c, we're talking about ax squared plus bx plus c. C is the constant term, and we're going to get c to the other side away from the x squared and the x term, the quadratic and the linear term. The next thing we'll do is we're going to divide both sides by a, so that the coefficient of the quadratic term is 1, and then we're going to complete the square. And when I say complete the square, I like to tell you, take the linear term, multiply it by 1/2, and square it and add it to both sides. And then you're going to use the square root method to finish off the problem. So these are the steps. You can refer back to these steps when you're going through the problems. But here's the first problem I want you to do. So here we have x squared plus 10x equals 24. Now I said the first step is to get c to the other side. It already is on the other side. So the 24 is away from the x squared plus the 10x. So our next step is to take b and multiply it by 1/2. Well, b is 10. 10 times 1/2 is 5. And we complete the square by taking that 5 and squaring it. And we add it to both sides, because whatever we do to one side of the equation, we have to do the other. So first step, get c to the other side. Second step, take b, multiply it by 1/2, and square it and add it to both sides. Now the left side is a perfect square trinomial, and it factors into x plus 5 quantity squared. And 24 plus 25 is 49, which is kind of nice, because now you can see that the left side is a perfect square, and so is the right side. So once we get to this point, we're going to use the square root method on both sides. So we're going to square root the left, we're going to square root the right. We take the square root of x plus 5 squared, that's x plus 5. When we take the square root of 49, that's 7. Now, anytime we take the square root of both sides, we introduce the possibility of a plus or minus, a positive or negative answer. We need to have both square roots, both the positive and the negative. And then from here we just solve. So what is negative 5 plus 7? Negative 5 plus 7 is 2. And what is negative 5 minus 7? Negative 5 minus 7 is positive 12. So those are our solutions.